Hey awesome ones, Heather here. Well, if you're like me, you really want to be cooking and eating healthier meals, home-cooked meals, but you don't always have the time for it. So I thought I'm going to do a video. I'm going to share with you some of my ideas, some of the appliances to help me kind of avoid the fast foods and have a nice home-cooked meal. So you finally decided that you're going to really eat healthier. You're going to have less frozen food, less takeout, and then life gets busy. Boy, do I know about that. Well, they say that it takes about 30 days for a habit or to turn into a routine. So you got to get started. You've got to start doing things a little bit differently. And I just want to share with you what I've done and how do we get started. Well, first of all, you need the right groceries. And if you haven't seen the video that Bill and I did on buying healthier groceries and having less spoilage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the video link in the end screen of this video, so you'll be able to check that out. And you know, that's the way that you start. You have the right groceries and the right food in the house. So I'm going to show you 3 appliances that really help to make my cooking easier, plus a few other ideas. Starting with number 1, this is fantastic for comfort food, and it's my slow cooker. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, hey, wait a minute, I think I have a slow cooker down in my basement from 1970. You might want to rethink that a little bit because, you know, you're going to be plugging this in for maybe 6 to 8 hours, and you don't want to have a fire hazard because when we think of it, 1970, like that was like 50 years ago. 50 years ago. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. So today I'm doing my old standby in the slow cooker, and that's my chili. So I'll be sharing that with you in just a few seconds, but there's literally 101 different ways to use a slow cooker that I found out in this book. And I also, some of the other items that we make in here are spaghetti sauce, and I really like to make chicken soup, but I make it with rice and do not make it with noodles. They tend to disintegrate in the slow cooker, and I found that out the hard way. So also in this book are recipes for the slow cooker for things like cranberry punch and also, you know, those barbecued meatballs. By the way, barbecued meatballs are like the best thing to take if you're going to a potluck and you take your slow cooker with you, because all you do, like this comes right out as well, but all you do is maybe keep it plugged in on low and then it's just ready whenever they're ready to serve. It's fantastic. Some other broccoli soup. I love making broccoli soup, and I add a little bit of cheese to it. There's all these recipes are in here as well. Other things, you can make desserts in this. You could make a pot roast in this. Also, with the desserts, what did they have here? I'm just reading here. Granola apple crisp, lemon custard, and also triple rich chocolate cake. So, you know, it's not just for one thing anymore. You can make lots of things and just put it on the counter and it cooks away. So at the end of this video, I'm making tonight's dinner, which happens to be chili. And stay tuned till the end because I'm also going to share my recipe with you. So this is perfect for those busy days, you know, when Bill and I are busy shooting videos or whatever we're doing. And I basically just put everything in the morning, and then I kind of set it and forget it. I do the odd stir and maybe the little taste test once in a while, but it's just so handy to have that and not worry about it. And if you're thinking to yourself, hey, where can I get a little book like that? Or, you know, some of these appliances that I'm talking about, well, I'm excited to say that Amazon has given us our own storefront, if you didn't know, and it's at amazon.com/shop/awesomeover50. And if you scroll down a little bit, we've got the kitchen gadgets and we have appliances there. Also, below the video, under the description, we're also going to put links for you there as well. And I am required to say that we make a little bit of commission on this, but hey, you know what? Everybody who's buying there, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much, because it really helps to keep these videos going. So let's get on with the rest of the appliances. So this is our George Foreman extra large. It's got a great grilling surface, George Foreman grill. And as many of you know, for making fajitas and paninis, this is a great gadget. But if you like to grill when it's freezing outside or winter time, I know Bill, he's behind the camera right now, we like to charcoal barbecue, and there's no way that Bill can stand out there in the middle of a blizzard and wait for those charcoals to get nice and hot. So we need to have an alternative. That's where this comes in. So if we wanted a great tasting steak or maybe hamburgers during the colder weather, we might choose to eat out, or maybe we'll order takeout, something like that. But we don't really have to do that with this grill, because you just place the meat right here and then you put it down, and depending on it, there's lots of recipes online and they tell you how long to cook for. And the nice thing about this is you see this little tray here, all of the juices, maybe from the hamburger or whatever, they run into this little tray. So you're also eating healthier, because that's a lot of oil and the kind of things that you really just don't want to digest. So there are dozens of other things that you can cook on this, because anything that really has to be flipped, you don't have to worry about it because of the two grills. They're even. If you're a vegetarian, this is great for making those grilled vegetables. And again, I mentioned the paninis and the fajitas. Also, salmon is another good thing to cook on here, or chicken breasts. And another thing that, of course, is fantastic for cooking on both sides evenly are those Reuben sandwiches or a wonderful grilled cheese. So next is my newest addition to the kitchen, and that's this Cuisinart oven. I love this, and I actually did an entire video on how I used it, and what I'll do is I'll put the link to that video also in the end screen for you. Now, I know I'm raving about this, but we bought it with our own money, so it wasn't a sponsored video. But inside there's a toaster, there's a broiler, there's an air fryer, and also a convection oven. There's timers and everything on it as well. So if you're making something like hors d'oeuvres, and you know what that's like, you've got to have one temperature for some of the hors d'oeuvres and another temperature for the others. Well, this works as a second oven, and you can just put whatever temperature you need on this. It's a really big capacity as well on the inside, and it also doubles as my second oven when I've got a lot of friends and families over, maybe for, I don't know, a turkey dinner or something along those lines. But the main thing I love about it is it's an air fryer, and what that means is that you're using little or no oil with it. And at my age, I'm really trying to keep away from some of the deep fried foods. And what Bill and I used to do is every time there was a big sports game on or something, we would order in the those buffalo chicken wings, and we don't have to do this anymore because this makes about 20 wings and they are delicious. So there are a lot of other things that you can cook in the air fryer part, and of course I found a cookbook on 600 best recipes for an air fryer, so there you go. And I know that I've cooked salmon, I've cooked crab cakes, breaded chicken fingers, all kinds of things, and like I said, I'm using just a few drops of oil. So this is it's kind of new on the market, and I absolutely love it. And by the way, I'm giving it 2 thumbs up, and that's my review, and like I said, non-sponsored. So we've got a few other appliances, but these ones are really specific just for cooking. Some of the other appliances that we love are, we have one of those automatic cappuccino, espresso, latte makers, and it automatically grinds the beans. And you know, I think I'm going to do a video on that another time, but I want to give you another idea because I just did this last night for easy baking. So these are the cookies that I baked last night, and they're just, you know, those old standby, you find them in the refrigerated part of the grocery store. They're tubes of cookie dough, and you can get them in oatmeal, chocolate chip cookies, sugar cookies, and lots more. So last night, as Bill was boiling the water for the coffee and making us French press coffee, I was making the dessert for the weekend, and they were these cookies. And all I had to do was I put the oven on to 300, I sliced them up, I put them in the oven for 18 minutes, that's it. And then we had some warm cookies for dessert. And I told Bill today, he can't eat any more of the cookies until after we film this today, but Bill, they're all yours.
Oh, I'm gonna get them.
Okay, let me get a couple as well, okay. But you know what, they're really, really good. And what's better than a warm cookie right out of the oven? So I promised you a chili recipe, so let's get going on that. And these are all the ingredients that I use in my chili. And what I have here is about 2/3 of a cup of onions, and I'm using red onions here, but you can certainly use just a normal onion, chopped. And then on top of there, I have sort of 1 celery stalk that I've chopped up there. And what I do is I put it in a frying pan along with the ground beef, and there's about 1 pound of ground beef there. Also, what I add to it is couple of, you know, whatever you prefer as far as how hot you want it, some Tabasco sauce. I have 2 cans of tomato soup that goes in there, and this is the concentrated soup, so you know, that really thick, and I don't add water to it. I also put in a 29-ounce can of diced tomatoes that goes in there, and also, whoops, 6 tablespoons, well, I do like my chilies with chili, so 6 tablespoons of chili, but you could use 4 if that's your liking. Also a can of red, this is 19 fluid ounces of red kidney beans. I'll put in probably about a tablespoon of garlic. I like garlic, it's good for you as well. And also just a teaspoon of white vinegar. And the reason that I put that in is just kind of gives it a little bit of flavor. And I also find that a little squirt of ketchup actually gives it a little bit of flavor too. And then of course you're seasoning with the salt for as much salt as you want. So that's what's all going into it, and I'll show you how it looks in the crock pot in just a few seconds. So I've got all the ingredients in there in the slow cooker now, and also the meat has all been ground up. It's on the bottom here. We got to give this a really good stir. Make sure that you take any of the excess oil from the ground beef, or I've used ground turkey and ground chicken too, and it's quite tasty with that as well. But I'm giving this a big stir. Now today Bill and I, you know, we're running a little late with the videos that we're doing, so I'm going to have to put this on high for about 3 hours and cook it. Usually I can put it on low for maybe about 7 hours, but we're in a bit of a hurry today, so I also will make sure that I stir it more often. It's not going to burn, but I do want to keep stirring it every when it's on high. So let's bring out little Hurricane now. Hey Hurricane, and let's talk about future videos, and we've got some new ideas for you, including cozy room decor, and also we have more travel, more food, and more fun videos too. And over at the Makeup and Fashion channel, which is youtube.com/awesomeover50, I'm going to be doing a fashion video on some of my favorite blue jeans, denim looks, and also some of you have been asking for really lower priced makeup, and could I do a review on that? So I've picked one of the brands that's one of the lowest priced makeup items in the drugstore, and I'm going to show you everything from eyeshadow to lipstick on that. So that's coming up, and that should be a lot of fun and very interesting to see how that turns out for you. And hey, by the way, I'm also on Instagram. Just search awesomeover50, and I post every single day, and I really try to, talk about a lot of things and a lot of inspiring messages that I really want to, I really want to share them with you. And talking about sharing, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Hey, a lot of you are on this aging journey with Bill and I, and we really want to make sure that it's a healthy journey for you, and if we can help a little bit with helping you to kind of stay away from over-processed frozen foods and takeout and deep-fried foods, that's what we're going to do, and I hope you found some great ideas with this video. So keep looking for healthier ways to live, keep being happy, and above all, keep it awesome.